Hello everyone, my name is Magical, and why am I wearing headphones? um, so in this video I wanted to tell you about a really weird thing that I saw. If you go by the title, that's what this video is about. I saw a real life stick figure person. Like I saw an actual Slender Man, but it wasn't even a person. And it didn't look like Slender Man. And I don't even know if I really saw that, but that's what I saw, and it's so weird. Um, like, it wasn't tall like Slender Man. It was like a tiny box. What I saw looked like a tiny box. Like this, it was like this big, it was like this tall and maybe this wide. It kind of this is kind of funny, but it kind of looked like my avatar right now in Roblox. It was like a black I don't know if you guys play Roblox, but there's an avatar you can use that you can play, change your character to look like. And it's just like a little black headless box. And that's what I saw. I saw a creature, alien? I don't know, demon, monster? I don't know what it was. But it was like a little black box with little tiny black stick legs and little tiny black stick arms, but it had no head. And it was really tiny, like I just described. It was only like it was just really tiny. It was like a little box person running around. And I saw this box person, this black stick person. I saw this black stick person or thing, demon, I don't know, whatever it was, running around on the street outside of my house. It was right under my street lamp where I saw it. And now I'm starting to wonder if the area under my street lamp of my street is like some kind of weird interdimensional portal where all kinds of creatures just come out from. I don't know. But okay, here's the reason why I'm not even totally sure if I really saw this thing. Well, I did see it, but I don't know if I was totally awake when I saw it, or if maybe it was just a hallucination, because I was actually sleeping in my car in my driveway of my house. And this is not unusual for me to do. I just quit my job, but back when I was working, like a few weeks ago, this was more like, I kind of stopped doing this because it is kind of dangerous. But I used to, a few months ago, when I was still working at my last job, I would sleep in my car because I would be so exhausted from work. I guess because I'm an empath, that I would just be totally drained of energy after work. And I've always been like this. I've always been completely drained of energy after work, like probably more than most people. And I don't even do jobs that are like hard. So I don't know why I'm always drained of energy after work, but I am. And so I would be so exhausted all the time that by the time I got home from my 25-minute drive, which is not even that much time to drive, I would just be so exhausted that I didn't even feel like getting out of the car to go to my bed to sleep. So I would just sit in my car, put the seat back, and fall asleep. And I spend a lot of time in my car. I spend more time in my car than most people. I could easily live in my car if it wasn't in the summertime. I love my car. I'll sit in my car for like hours sometimes and just chill and watch YouTube. I'm weird like that. I really love my car. And so I can sleep really easily in my car. And so I was in my car and then I woke up and that's when I saw this weird black stick person. And it wasn't, I wasn't experiencing, I was not experiencing sleep paralysis because I sat right up, looked over at the street. I don't know what drew my attention to look that way. I guess I was looking to make sure there were no serial killers around because I was, cautious that I shouldn't be sleeping in my car and that it could be dangerous. And there's the whole fact that something happened on my street. This One of my neighbors got stabbed. My neighbor who lived across from me got stabbed around that time. It was kind of after that happened. And my mom and I were the people who helped stop all of her blood from, bleeding. We helped stop her from bleeding out and we called the police. And it was very traumatic to see your neighbor who lives across from you literally dripping with blood all over her. So, yeah, very traumatic, but I don't have PTSD from that experience, thank God. At least I don't think. So, yeah, that happened, and that was kind of why I was more cautious than usual sleeping in my car. The person who stabbed my neighbor was her boyfriend, though. So, um, it wasn't like it was a random. It's not like there's a random serial killer in my neighborhood, but there are some dangerous people apparently that live next to me, and I didn't realize that. Well, not her, not my neighbor. My neighbor's not dangerous, and my neighbor's family is not dangerous. But when I say there's some dangerous people around near my house, what I meant is her boyfriend, who I don't even think lived with her, is dangerous. What I mean is there's dangerous people that come through my neighborhood, apparently, and like her, and by that I mean her boyfriend, not her or her family. I just meant her boyfriend is dangerous. And I had no idea that dangerous people like her boyfriend would come through my neighborhood. I had no idea that people can get stabbed in my neighborhood. I I didn't realize that people actually got murdered in my neighborhood. Like I just never see it. Like we never really have the police. Around my street anyway. I don't know. I know that stuff like that happens, but I live in such a sleepy town. I guess I just kind of forget that danger is around. And I mean, it's probably, I guess a lot of the stuff that happens here in Colombia is probably often drug related murder, but this was a domestic violence murder attempt that happened with my neighbor. So, but my neighbor's fine. By the way, she got out of the hospital literally the next day because I guess I don't really know why, but I'm pretty sure, like when I was looking at her wounds looked pretty superficial. Like it looked like he didn't stab her very deeply. So she lost a lot of blood, but not as much as it wasn't as bad as it could have been, thank God. And so she got out of the hospital the next day. She came over and she thanked me and my mom, and I gave her a hug. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're okay." So that had a happy ending. And then her boyfriend, who was also in a gang, was arrested right after that happened. And yeah, so that's what happened there. Maybe I'll make a video about that later. I don't know. I'm not sure if I should even really be talking about that, but it just it just kind of popped into my head because I was kind of extra cautious around that time, and concerned about killers being around me while I slept in my car. So I don't know, maybe I was paranoid at that time. Maybe all of that contributed to me. I mean, this, like me seeing the stick figure person, though, I didn't see the stick figure person like right after my neighbor got stabbed. I think it was like months apart that I saw this stick figure. And then I don't know if I was even really thinking about what happened with my neighbor anymore. The stuff that happened with my neighbor happened in February. And it was on the news and everything, you guys. So, but basically I was cautious. Maybe I was a little paranoid at the time. I woke up, I just looked over and I saw this black stick figure. And it was doing the weirdest thing. It was running around in a circle. It looked like a black shadow box person with little tiny legs, little tiny arms, and it was waving its arms and just running its little stick legs around in a circle for just a few seconds. I only saw it for a few seconds, and then it just kind of disappeared. And that was the most mysterious thing I have ever seen in my life. I don't know what it was. I don't think I hallucinated it. I think I really saw it because I was awake when I saw it. Like, I was probably sleepy, but I wasn't actually sleepy. Does that make sense? Like, I was tired, um physically tired from work still when I woke up, but I was alert. I was alert and I was checking my surroundings to make sure there were no killers around. So I was alert. And then I saw this weird black stick figure person. And I was just like, what is this thing? I didn't scream or anything when I saw it. I just stared at it. And I was like, what the fuck is that? I was like kind of in shock. I was just looking at it. And then after it happened, I sat in my car for a few minutes and I was kind of just like, that moment in No Country for Old Men when Tommy Lee Jones just looks around and he says, oh, wait, I think it's when him and the other old police officer talking. And he says, signs and wonders, signs and wonders. Because he just can't believe what's happening in the world today. And I was just like, I can't believe what's happening in the spiritual world that I am now all of a sudden able to see. So it's kind of weird. And I have been meditating for about a year regularly. And I've started, like, ever since I started meditating and trying to decalcify my pineal gland, I have seen some weird things like that. That would be the weirdest weird thing I've seen so far. I really want to see a ghost. Back when I was in college, I would just wander around the campus at like 2 a.m. and just hope and pray that I would see a ghost. Especially in there's what's the building called? I went to Columbia College, and it's an all-girls school, and it was founded in 1854. And there's this room, and it's full of dolls, and creepy porcelain dolls, and they're all dressed in different fashion. And basically, there's an award that a senior girl gets one of these dolls made to look like her. I don't know what the award's called, but it's kind of like a popularity contest thing, or like you could maybe think of it as like a most likable girl on campus thing. I don't know if they get a prize or what, but they get a doll. I don't know if they get money. I don't remember what they get, but or why they win that. But they get a doll made out of them, and they dress the doll to like how they would dress. So when you go in this building, and I've been in there a few times for special events, when you go in there, you see dolls going back to the 1800s or early 1900s. Yeah, you see them going back to the 1800s, and it's so crazy. It's so crazy and kind of creepy. Also kind of cool to see like all these different girls from every year. Some of them from the beginning, you see women dressed in like dolls dressed in 1800s fashion. Then you see 1920s flapper almost fashion. Then you see 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, 2000s, present day. And it's just crazy to see how fashion changed so much. And then all these creepy dolls with their doll eyes and just staring at you. You almost wonder if the doll sucks the soul of the woman herself inside of it. It's kind of creepy, but it's also kind of cool. I really want to go back there just to look at those dolls again. I wish I would have gotten a picture, but I'm sure someone has a picture somewhere online. I wish I could tell you guys what the name of the building was. My sister would know because she went there too, but she went there like 11 years before me. So yeah, like I always wanted to see a ghost, and I mean, I think I have seen one. It was like weird though. I don't know if it was a ghost or what it was. And I kind of feel scared talking about it in this house because I saw it in this house. I'll probably make another video about that when I'm not inside of my house. Yeah, but I just want to tell you guys that I found some stuff online about these stick figure people. Apparently, I'm not the only person who's seen them. Except these people have seen something kind of different. So according to this website called mysteriousuniverse.org, it says, quote, "The phenomenon of the black stick men is rather recent, mostly said to have really taken off in the late 2000s, when across internet forums, there began to circulate a growing number of accounts of people seeing a totally new type of anomalous entity, usually described as very tall, impossibly thin black figures, typically devoid of any noticeable features, almost as if, as their name implies, they were crudely drawn stickmen come to life and stepped off the page. In some cases, they are even described as being actually two-dimensional, becoming almost invisible when viewed from a certain angle, or even morphing between 2 and 3 dimensions. And their movements are at times said to be disjointed and odd, but in other reports, very smooth yet unnatural. Reports of feeling dizzy or tired in their presence are also not uncommon, as well as the distinct sense of a sort of static charge in the air and sometimes a sense of malevolence. Although the entities are not known to be aggressive, indeed, they are usually described as being rather skittish and acting almost surprised that they have been seen, usually escaping by creeping off into the night or simply vanishing into thin air. Oh my gosh! Maybe the stick figure was dancing in a circle because it was scared that I saw it. And then it was just like freaking out and running in circles like, oh my god, she saw me. And then it just disappeared. I only saw it for like a few seconds, you guys. I saw it for maybe, I want to say it was about somewhere between 5 to 10 seconds. I just saw it running around. And it was just so weird. Definitely the weirdest thing I have ever seen. It all seems completely absurd, but there is actually quite a large number of supposed sightings of whatever these entities are, and they are every bit as bizarre as you might think. Some accounts even go far back through the decades, only recently cropping up from witnesses online, and one of these was related on a forum for 14 times, where a witness, only known as Simon, claims that he had an encounter with a stickman in Kent, England, way back in 1978. He says of his experience, a group of about 10 of us were sitting chatting in the Luce Valley at about midnight. After about 45 minutes, Will leapt to his feet, slapping his head, saying there was a bee in his hair. He looked absolutely terrified. Both Dorothy and I saw the outline of a tall, thin figure wearing a hat dancing behind him. Will said later it was as if a terrifically loud buzzing was coming through the top of his head. However, only Rachel heard any buzzing. We partially satisfied ourselves that it must have been a bee's nest, so we moved a little distance away. As we moved away, Dorothy and I saw a ring outline in the grass, which enclosed where we had been sitting. Eventually, it started raining, so we headed for Rachel's house. As we left, I turned around and saw the same thin black figure walk across the opening between the trees to where we had been sitting. Oh my gosh. Here's another account from the site Listverse, but this is also from the mysterioussuniverse.org website, that they're just talking about what Listverse said. In the Listverse site, someone was talking about an encounter that happened back in 1982 in Essex, England. The witness claims to have been a nurse at the time and to have had her brush with the outlandish entity as it crept about the shadows of the hospital grounds at night. Okay, so I like hearing accounts of stuff like this from people who were like nurses or doctors or lawyers. You know, people who are usually very skeptical. So it's easier to believe someone like that who's probably very skeptical of stuff like this because they are so science-based already, that it makes it more believable when someone like that says they saw something like this. So take their word for it, guys. Don't take mine. Take their word for it. She says, so this is what this said. She said, quote, in 1982, when I was a student nurse at Worthy Hospital, Brentwood in Essex, England, I encountered a stick person in the grounds of the hospital as I was walking home one night. It lopped across the roadway, having been seemingly pressed up against a wall. It stopped when it saw me and raised its arms in fright and quickly walked off into the undergrowth. It was very tall with very thin, extremely long arms and legs and a very small oval head. Totally black and no obvious clothing. I saw no face, even though it emerged very near a street lamp, and so was well illuminated. I was terrified, and to this day no one believes me. Totally black and no obvious clothing. She said the stick figure she saw had a very small oval head, but no face. And then it just, like how my stick figure got creeped out and just ran around in circles, it freaks out. This one, her stick figure raised its arms instead of running around in a circle like mine. And then it just disappeared like mine. But mine didn't have a face. I mean, hers didn't have a face either. She said hers had a head, but mine didn't even have a head, I don't think. But I was kind of far from it. So maybe it did have a tiny head. Maybe I just didn't see its head because this, like, I was in my driveway in my car, and my street light where the stick figure was under my street light, it was very clearly illuminated. So I could see the stick figure clearly. And my street lamp is a few feet away from me, though. It's, I don't know how many feet. I guess my street lamp is probably like, I want to say it's like 40 feet or something like that away from me. It's like one house away from me, or like 1.5 houses away from me. It's not far, but it's a few feet, but I could still see it clearly, and it was just weird. So some people saw them when they were kids. Hmm. So according to this person, this was something that it was on Reddit. Um, it says, quote, a witness who says he has a visitation from a stick man when he was just a very young boy. He says that one evening he woke up to a heavy feeling of dread and got out of bed to go to sleep with his parents down the hall, but he wasn't alone. He says, when I got out of bed and opened the door, about 5 feet away from me in the hallway was a tall, black, slender figure that was very thin, all black, no facial feature, a circled head, similar to the other woman's story. Um, Quote, the arms and legs were really thin and the fingers looked sharp. It made no, ooh, God, ooh, that's scary. It had sharp fingers. It says, quote, it made no sound and was gliding as it walked. The way it walked was the most scary part for me. I only saw it for 2 seconds, then slammed the door and started wailing and crying. The minutes passed until my mom was up to the door and calls me down. I don't remember mentioning it to her, so she just thought I had a bad dream. She then got a roll of blankets and put them on the hallway floor for us to sleep together. For some reason, my mom likes to sleep on the floor because she grew up that way. My feet ended up being scratched very badly. It couldn't have been my mom's nails, and I remembered it left a burning sensation. I'm 18 now, and it's one of the few earliest memories I had. I still live in the same house in Connecticut. Oh, that's terrifying. I've heard of stuff like this, like um, this idea that demons can scratch you. Some very powerful demons can scratch you. So here's another one, and this is gonna be the last one I read, I think. unless I see a better one. Um, It says here, quote, "This report is interesting in that it gives a relatively rare glimpse into the possibly malicious nature of these entities, as they are most typically described as having a menacing air about them, but being for the most part harmless." Huh. I guess I thought my stick figure was harmless. Quote, "Another report comes from a witness called Amalthea, who posted her story on both Reddit and on the site True Ghost Stories Archive. She says that this happened to her as she was growing up in California between about 1997 and 2004, and that her strange encounter would happen as she was hanging out with her best friend Ginny. The witness says she had kept to herself out of fear of being ridiculed until she realized that others had seen the same thing. This particular account seems rather sinister in nature. Well, that's not a good sign. My alarm just went off right when I read that. As soon as I read sinister in nature, really bad, you guys. Everything's a sign. I swear. And she says of her own sighting, "When I was growing up, I had a best friend who lived down the street. We lived in a quiet, small town where her dad was always working. I would walk to her house every day after school, and we would often take walks. A walk to the liquor store to buy candy, etc. I would often see a stick man following us, peeking out from behind her couch. He was all black and changed sizes. Oh, what? Sometimes the size of a small cat, other times taller than a normal sized man. I felt very scared of him and felt he was mischievous at best, perhaps evil. I finally got the courage to tell my best friend, and she admitted to seeing him too. I always got the feeling he was the same one every time, not different stickmen. One time he appeared in the shape of a stick figure horse, like a bad child's drawing. I always believed him to be somehow following me and watching me, until when my best friend passed away suddenly, our senior year of high school, she had a genetic heart condition that nobody, including herself, had known about. I've never seen what we called stickman ever since. I believe now perhaps he was some form of grim reaper, awaiting his time to take my friend. I don't know if that's really the case, but it seems odd the sightings of him disappeared after she passed. I never saw who we dubbed Stickman again. I'm researching him now that I'm in my late 20s because I recently confided in my husband about these weird experiences." Huh. Um, oh my god. I hope my stick figure isn't like a Grim Reaper. Because I actually just dreamed the other night about dark water and how I need to beware of dark water. And I don't know. Maybe I don't. I never know how much of my dreams I can trust because I have psychic dreams, but they don't always happen. Then some of them do happen. And I don't know. I mean, I did just go get back from the beach, so maybe I'm just kind of worried a little bit about dark water. And, I was kind of I was, at the beach late at night, and, the water was dark. I guess it was kind of scary, but I liked it. So it was reckless, though. But, I mean, I don't know. That's just terrifying. I hope it's not a Grim Reaper for me. Huh. I'm just reading another story. Okay. I'm just looking for to see if there's one that's like even better than the one I just read. Huh. There's just a lot of accounts of people who've seen this stuff. Okay, I'm gonna read one more. Um, because this is a person who saw it. She saw this stick figure, and then her parents saw it too. So I don't think she's making that up, even though she was a kid when she saw it. Like, if her parents saw it, I'm kind of more likely to believe that, it was real. Another witness who was a child at the time says that her and her parents witnessed a stick man from their moving vehicle as they drove home one night. The whole encounter is dripping with a certain sense of dread, although the thing in question did nothing to really threaten them in any way. She says, I know something moving very quickly in front of the car. Here's where it gets difficult to describe. What appeared to be two black, stick like legs, as if the bottom half of a stick man ran quickly past the car. Everything in that moment seemed to slow down, and I entirely lost my train of thought. The area around the legs even almost seemed static like and blurry. Neither my mom or dad said anything immediately, so I shrugged it off as looking out in the night at a moving road for too long. But I started my sentence again. But as I started my sentence again, my mom interrupted me. What was that? She generally sounded terrified, and I knew immediately what she was talking about. I basically screamed back, The stick man? And my mom began panicking. My dad seemed very confused and pulled over, and we looked around the area where we saw it run. My mom said that she saw an entire stick man run from one side of the road to another. Tall, lanky, almost 2D, just like a kid's drawing. That's kind of what mine looked like. Mine was 3D. Never mind, mine was 3D, not 2D. When she calmed down, she started describing everything about what she saw, including how it walked. This was only about half a mile from their house, so we drove back, my dad still in a state of confusion, and my mom and I nearly shaking. Ultimately, we all came to the conclusion that everything in that moment was very hazy, as if time slowed down and we were seeing into another dimension. Oh my gosh, that's what I was saying. That it felt like that thing that I saw came from another dimension or something. Like maybe there's a portal by the freaking street light on my street. Can you imagine how insane that would be if there's actually a portal there? Like in Stranger Things or something? Like there's an actual portal. It's a real portal. Oh my god. I don't know if I should be excited or terrified or both. Because if there's a portal, that's kind of cool because, if I could find access to it, I could go to another dimension. But at the same time, though, what's coming through the portal? Like, I don't know if I want to know everything that's coming through my portal. Why my mom and I saw it and my dad didn't, I still have no idea. Both of my parents are religious people and typically try to debunk stuff like this, but they both agree that there is no way what we saw wasn't otherworldly. We began researching and found that we weren't the only people to ever see the stick man. When my mom read one post about the way it moved, I saw her heart drop. The post said something about claims of the thing galloping, which is exactly how she described it right after it happened. Normally, I'm very interested in stuff like this, but I was so terrified I just wanted to forget it all happened. For some reason, something about the situation felt menacing. Okay, then. That's not good. That's not good. That is not good. See, ladies and gentlemen, when you start seeing demons and things of a lower vibrational nature, it means that you yourself have a low vibration. And the fact that I saw this stick figure thing, it just makes me worry, not only about, the interdimensionality potentials of life as I thought I knew it, but also the fact that demons wander around outside my house apparently, and possibly, well, we're not gonna mention where else, but just not good. Very scary stuff. And I really need to raise my vibration, because when you raise your vibration, and in case you don't know what vibration is, vibes is just like, when you walk inside of a room and you look around in the room and you say, wow, this room has really bad vibes, or wow, this room has really great vibes. That's what vibration is. It's just the energy. It's just energy. Whether it's a higher energy, which is more positive, happy, of love and light, and then lower vibrational energy, it's like, that's when you feel depressed or any kind of negative emotion. That's you being in a lower vibrational state. And when you're in a lower vibrational state, now the types of entities that are drawn to you are more like the demonic types or the mischievous trickster type of ghosts. But when you're in a higher vibration, you don't have those things go away. Like, you don't have to worry about seeing demons. You'll see other things instead, like maybe you'll hear angels singing, or maybe you'll see an angel, or you'll see, I don't know if you can really see extraterrestrials, but if you can, then you would probably see extraterrestrials of a higher vibrational nature, like Pleiadians or Arcturians or something, you know, Syrians. Uh-oh, my toilet started making a sound. The creatures don't want me to keep talking about this, so I'm going to have to end the video here. And the lights went out in my room today, and I suspected that it was because of things of a nature that I've been talking about in this video. And yes, I know that sounds paranoid and crazy, but I don't know. I thought I heard something. Maybe it was just my toilet making noise. Now I'm just really scared to be in my house after reading about all this stuff and the fact that my lights went out. So now I'm in my dark room. Luckily, I'm not scared of anything. So that's why nothing ever can seem to really hurt me or scare me, because I don't let the fear get to me. Like, I don't get afraid of anything like how I used to. Like, I'm just not scared of things. Does that make sense? Like, I'm scared of things, but I'm not scared of, like, otherworldly creatures. Like, if I saw a ghost, I would probably be scared, but I'd be intrigued as well. Like, I like stuff like that. So this was a very long video, but I hope you got a chill out of it. I hope you got some. I hope now you're kind of thinking about sleeping with your lights on, but I certainly wish I had some lights on in my room right now because I'm kind of scared, like, to be honest. But I'm not gonna let myself see. I need to go back to being fearless again. Centering myself. Okay, I'm fearless again. See, that's why nothing of this stuff can really get to me. And that's why that thing, whatever it was, didn't mess with me. Because I don't show that kind of stuff fear. I don't get scared by that kind of stuff. And so it just runs away from me. And that's how if you have an infestation of evil spirits in your house or whatever, the only way you can get rid of that stuff is probably by, I think you need to use sage. And then also you have to raise your vibration by being happier, as happy as you can be with demons in your house. And also, you can't let them scare you because they feed off of fear. And if you aren't scared of them, then they can't hurt you. But if you are scared of them, some of the really powerful ones, apparently, they can actually touch you and scratch you. Like that kid got scratched by the weird stick man with his creepy long-ass fingernails. So just be careful, you guys. Keep your vibrations as high as you can so that these kinds of things don't get to you and hurt you and try to mess with you, because I really do believe that there are entities like this out there, and they feed off of people who are not very happy in their lives. They're attracted to people who have depression or anxiety issues like me. So I have to be extra vigilant and try to keep my vibration as high as possible, even though I have depression and I have a lot of anxiety issues. I know I'm susceptible to this kind of stuff, and that's why I have to really work on keeping my vibration as high as I can so that I don't have to worry about, demons being drawn to my negativity. So just be careful, you guys. And I don't have any expertise in this stuff, so I don't know what kind of advice I can give you other than to raise your vibration and get some sage and, sage your house. So yeah. Please subscribe to me. I'm going to start doing more paranormal story videos like this. And I have a few other paranormal stories I'd like to tell you guys about. So subscribe if you want to hear more of that stuff. And I'll probably make another paranormal video like this. Actually, no, I'm definitely going to make another paranormal video like this next week. So subscribe for that. Thank you for watching me, and I love you. Stay in the light. And yeah, bye.